Hi, welcome back to the Chronicles of Nico's Vehicle, apparently. Nah, I just want to thank everybody. I'll do an extended thanks at the end of the video, but I'm going to go ahead and get down to it. We have a lot of information I have to give out. We have a few names to elaborate on because a lot of people want to know. So, I should do. If many of you remember, I called her out in the last video. First of all, she's blocked me from her Facebook finally. Those of you who finally have gone to Facebook, you see she's deleted her pictures with Debbie Weissman Schultz. And anybody who's politically connected in North Carolina, if you see the people she's been shouting out recently, they're all avid Hillary supporters and it's super establishment. But like, that's irrelevant. Like, you know, she can shout out whoever she wants to, establishment or not. It is what it is. But that doesn't change the fact that you deleted your pictures. And we can tell you when your pictures were deleted or were created. Like you had a picture of DWS in November, like late November. Why would you be taking pictures with DWS if you're an avid Bernie supporter? Considering the fact that anyone who was anybody in politics at that point in time knew exactly what Hillary was, who DWS was trying to promote. Like we all knew. You knew. Why? I don't know why you thought that. Like. It just, I don't know. It was just, it's like your need and thirst for attention was like your ultimate demise. Because luckily I have like pretty much a team of researchers now. Thank you and shout out to them. We found the pictures of her apparent advocation of Hillary at her rally, and it's first in the South, you know, and she just so hyped because she's at this big Hillary rally and she just didn't delete her tweets. I don't know why she wouldn't do that, but whatever. And I thought, you know, maybe it was like 2014 or even January 2015. Because then I'm like, okay, I can understand because even myself, I wasn't necessarily a lover of Hillary, but I was considering voting for Hillary before Bernie came into the picture. And so I can understand that. No, the picture at the rally was taken like late. No, it was like November, like 29th or 20th. It was some crazy day. It was like, put it like this. It was like a month before she started getting vetted to get hired, right? And I thought, okay, maybe, just maybe, she just had a last minute change of heart, everybody. I just knew in my heart that it's possible that she could have had a last minute change of heart. And then I saw the picture, and here it is. I saw the picture of this woman at a Hillary campaign captain's party that she was tagged in with all of the Hillary people. It was so beautiful. It was like seeing everything unfold right in front of me. And in response to this, she hasn't denied anything. People have been watching. She hasn't denied anything. Apparently, people said they've called her and she hasn't answered. Not surprising. I wouldn't answer either. If I was innocent, I wouldn't have anything to hide. But with that being said, we can move on now because we know where she lies. Now, Robert Dempsey, on the other hand, you're good because you almost single-handedly destroyed the North Carolina Democratic Party. And it's amazing to me how Bernie would hire someone who actively vetoed his appearance in North Carolina. Because when Randy Voller tried to invite Bernie down here, you stopped him from doing it. And that's really weird to me, right? Because like you're the executive director, and for those of you who don't know, the executive director of the North Carolina Democratic Party has more power than even the chair does. He lied to Randy. That's the only reason Robert got hired. He lied to Randy and acted as if he was progressive. At the time, the North Carolina Democratic Party was extremely progressive. Well, not really, but there were a lot of more progressive members running this situation than there are now. Robert came in, sold him the narrative that he was progressive and that he was going to do progressive things, and obviously we know that was not true. Guy, I don't want to go into personal things about him because that's really irrelevant, but the fact of the matter is, the facts are, this man was hired and he was fired because when he was asked to turn over all the financial information because he was pretty much been bankrupting the party, he ran off. For all of my friends who watch, who are really into hip hop, and all of you who've been watching the Vine, he literally ran off on the plug, and he literally did it twice. because he did it. He did it in North Carolina and he did it in Virginia. The beautiful irony of it is, I will always make hip hop references, and anyone who has a problem with that, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to get over it. Because at the end of the day, I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I was raised in the hood. Like, as much as I love this politics, for anybody who's trying to tell me to change the rhetoric I use, or how I speak, or how I carry myself, or how I act, you can go ahead and get that thought out of your mind. That's a go ahead. That's just a random insert. That's it. I'm letting you know that right now. So don't message me telling me to act a different way, telling me to speak a different way, or telling me to talk about people in a different way. I'm not going to. I didn't get where I'm at by trying to pretend to be somebody I'm not. With that being said, Mr. Dempsey, we move on. Then you end up working. So you got kicked out of North Carolina Democratic Party. You ran to the Virginia with McAuliffe. Then that got blown up because everybody knew. Everybody in the, I don't know what area you would call. I guess you would call it the Piedmont area, or just everybody in North Carolina, Virginia knew how incompetent Robert was. And instead of realizing, McCall didn't realize, I guess, at the time that bringing him on was just a stupid idea, but he probably was persuaded to bring him on. I wonder by who. Yeah. McAuliffe is an avid Hillary supporter. Dempsey is an extremely avid Hillary supporter, part of that political machine. And he literally came down here and did nothing, absolutely nothing but straight sabotage. What was found in Dempsey's desk was thousands and thousands, I'm talking about tens of thousands of unpaid bills and checks that were never deposited. That should tell you enough. But I digress. So what happens next? Corey Warfield worked for Dempsey. So obviously, we know who this links back to. Guess where Corey Warfield ends up? He ends up being in charge of the Nevada Democratic Caucus. That's a really weird place for you to be, right? Like, you were like working for, first Robert worked in Vermont, he came up in North Carolina and then Virginia, but you didn't, how you end up all the way in Nevada, my friend? Now, if anybody knows exactly what ties he has to Nevada, feel free to comment. But I have no idea why he ended up in Nevada. Pretty strategic. And we lost by what kind of margin in Nevada? It was like 1% or 2%. And these coincidences just keep coming up. You know, they're everywhere. It's coincidence after coincidence after coincidence. Ladies and gentlemen, this is no longer a coincidence, because guess what? I got messages from Michigan telling me that their state director may be possibly, involved in this. I've gotten messages from every state has been telling me this. And this is why I bring this up. Stop reaching out to the campaigns in those individual states, please. I mean, these guys, we're still trying to figure out the missing link. We don't know who it is yet. But we're once again, we're going to find out, because we figured out that Robert's your point man. But the fact that Aisha got hired without being vetted after her page was filled with pro-Hillary stuff to the day she was hired. The fact that Robert, it would be so easy to find out stuff about Robert. Hey, guy that Robert worked for and worked with, why did he get fired? Oh, well, he bankrupted us. Okay, that was pretty simple. I could have did that in 5 minutes. I've vetted these people more in the last 24 hours than they've been vetted the entirety of their careers with Bernie Sanders. And that's not suspicious at all. Flint, Michigan has reached out to me several times and essentially explained that they had to do everything to undercut the campaign because there was valiant efforts to make sure that they couldn't do anything. So they just completely mobilized themselves, which I encourage every volunteer to do. And they got it done. And in such an amazing way. Every state that has won has told me the exact same story. They had to undercut the campaign and mobilize themselves in the exact same ways. This is not a coincidence. Those are 3 people that directly link back to Hillary. 3 people. We can keep playing stupid. We can keep playing ignorant. But like I said, there's already one person that got caught they essentially tried to set Bernie up with this data situation. And if you think that that's the last person, and you didn't ever consider, well, how did he get hired? Somebody had to know. The fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, and I have so much more information, but I don't want to bring it without the rest of the facts. I don't do things without corroborating evidence. That's just not the type of person I am. So trust me when I say there are more names, and there are more. And so yeah, I see y'all out there getting ready to delete your Facebook posts. You better go ahead and start, because we already got all your screen. We screenshotted everything. We got so much. Oh man, I'm so excited about this, guy. It's a pretty good time. It's getting good. If you thought that somebody was going to get hired and think you never, people did not, like, who was hiring these people? It's very obvious. Somebody who was told to. So our next step, ladies and gentlemen, we need to figure out who is in Bernie's inner circle and who is essentially putting these people in charge of important information. Wisconsin, I got some pretty important information for you. Robert is in your state. Ignore him. If he talks to you and wants to have a discussion with me, tell him to feel free to contact me. He can add me on Facebook. And then we can have a discussion, so maybe he can defend himself. I don't know if he's going to be able to, but hey, he might be able to. I don't know. I doubt it, though, considering that we have everything that he's done on records. So I just want to go ahead and say thank you to everyone who's done all of this amazing effort. It's absolutely amazing seeing what we've been able to do in 24 hours. I mean, even media outlets are coming out and trying to investigate this because they're just as concerned as we are, because this is massive. I don't think people really understand what this means. We will probably have to sue for a re-election at the Supreme Court level, something that's unprecedented in history. There's nothing like this. We've never seen open, blatant corruption, and it's sloppy. You know why it's sloppy? It's sloppy because they did not expect Bernie to be as palpable as he currently is. And you can tell it was last minute. You can tell it was ill planned. You can tell they didn't even vet the people they were running, that they were having do these things before they decided to plant them, because they're sloppy, which means that they were scrambling like chickens with their head cut off, and that they're going to mess up, and they will continue to mess up. Many of you know we had a site post this story about this whole situation. You know, I wasn't involved in it, obviously, because my face is on it with Bernie. And it got hacked. Hillary's web team hacked it. Constantly, over and over again, going up, coming down, going up, coming down, going up. Blocking Facebook posts, putting people in Facebook jail for posting too much. I'm going to tell you like this, ladies and gentlemen. You don't remove a mole or a freckle with chemotherapy. So obviously, we're on to something. And if we weren't, they wouldn't be fighting so hard.